War. War never changes.
What's up, wastelanders? Boys and girls, prepare to be astounded, bedazzled, and otherwise stupefied.
You talk a lot. Sound funny when you talk like a stupid human. I am online once again. Tremble, world, before my electric heating coil of doom.
What's up, Wastelanders? Hello and welcome to Tapes from the Wastes, a Fallout fan podcast bringing you gameplay talk, lore, news discussion, and all things Fallout and Fallout adjacent. I am one of your hosts, KDB, and as always, I'll soon hand you over to my co-host, Eric, aka Sulior. Today's episode is a mix of news, first impressions, fan opinion, and even more lore. Yes, it turns out that Vault lore was not a trilogy. It has officially become a saga, as Eric will be on hand for the final part, at least I think final part, in his Vault sub-series of the podcast. Yes, and Eric and I will both be giving our first reactions and first impressions to the new Fallout 76 update. I'm going to chat about some of the news and, as I say, talk about some fan opinion after a poll that I put out on our Twitter account. So, yes, hello, welcome. Thank you as always for listening. I hope you are all doing well. Weather report here in the UK. Spring has finally arrived. Today is a stunning day. I have just got back from being out for most of the morning and early afternoon with my family, doing an Easter trail, answering Easter quiz questions, solving Easter riddles, having ice cream, and yeah, it feels like this is the warmest day of the year so far. We had a huge storm on Thursday which battered the country, and it was like, yeah, one of the worst storms we've seen in a long time. Then we had kind of an uneasy day on Friday, and today is just, yeah, I hope it stays like this for the foreseeable, because spring is finally here. There's beaming sunshine. The wind has died down. It's actually warm. You don't need to put a coat on to go outside. Yeah, got some of that vital vitamin D, which, yeah, my body has definitely been lacking since like November the 15th or something stupid like that. So yeah, it's beautiful here in England today, at least in the south of England. Wherever you are, I hope spring has arrived, or if you're listening to this, I guess in the southern hemisphere, is autumn arriving? Is that right? Autumn's coming. But yeah, wherever you are, I hope it's nice. Right, okay, that's the weather out of the way. What else? So yeah, it is the Easter holidays here in the UK, which means my kid is off school for 2 weeks, and my wife and I are having to kind of juggle entertaining him at home and taking some days off work while still doing work days. And yeah, it's a bit of a mad time. I found myself with a brief gap in my schedule to jump on and do this episode. People who live in the UK, and I imagine it's very similar for other people in other countries as well, but I tweeted about it yesterday, just the holiday allocations, the annual leave allocations that you're allowed to take from work. It doesn't add up in terms of how many days your kid is off school. So yeah, these sort of 2 week holidays and the summer holidays are always a struggle to find the time to work and look after your family. And just, yeah, I almost kind of can't believe that this is the norm, really. I imagine this is what it's been like for the last 100 years. And I kind of feel like I'm in one of those situations where whenever these holidays come around, I'm like, is there not a better way to do this? Is there not a better system? Because this doesn't seem to be benefiting anyone. If you want to, you know, raise your kid efficiently and properly, rather than, I don't know, dumping them at an all-day club 5 days a week where God knows what's going to happen to them. Anyway, yeah. So, yes, I found some time in my schedule to do this episode, and there's lots to talk about today. Let's kick things off with the Fallout news. Now, we had, what is the headline? I suppose we had a new trailer and a clip for the upcoming Fallout TV show. Now, in the previous episode, I had started to talk about how the marketing for the TV show was getting going, and there was like new posters and news about the South by Southwest thing. There was a Fallout game collection that you could buy that came with a mini nuke, kind of like collector's edition thing. And then, yeah, we put that episode out with like to talk about all the hype behind the TV show. And then like 3 days later, a new trailer for the TV show dropped. And yeah, holy shit, was it incredible. This was so good to see. I've put some thoughts out closer to the time already on our Twitter account and on my own account, but I thought this trailer absolutely slapped, as the kids say. It slammed, they smashed it. Yeah, the first trailer was good, but this kind of, I don't know, this took it to the next level for me. I thought it showed just enough to really get me excited. Obviously, soundtrack to I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire, which is a bit, I guess on the nose, but that's fine. I think it got everybody hyped. That's the thing to point out. There was a lot of awesome buzz online when this trailer dropped. It seemed to be kind of mostly universally a positive response. I didn't really see anybody criticizing it. I saw some criticism later when a clip dropped, but yeah, this trailer, it just did so much for the buzz around the TV show. We also got the confirmation that all of the episodes are dropping at the same time, which is what, the 11th of April, 12th, 11th or 12th. I think it might be the 11th. And yeah, it just really, really got me excited. I watched it like 5 times in a row. I've watched it a few times since then. Showed it to my wife. Yeah, talked with friends about it. Talked with Eric about it. We're both super, super pumped for the TV show. Yeah, it absolutely... And this is stuff that's already been said because we're a couple of weeks out from this trailer now. It absolutely nailed the tone of the games. And I saw that was a thing lots of people were saying. We had the mix of... humor, the kind of wacky Fallout humor, the dark humor, and then the seriousness of the apocalypse and the harshness of life in the wasteland, and how kind of vault dwellers are out of their depth coming out of the vault into the wasteland. So yeah, they nailed it. They absolutely nailed it. Showed us a lot more from all the characters, and yeah, got me really, really excited. I saw articles being written about it. This was... For a couple of days, it was, there was such a huge buzz, and Fallout was trending. And this trailer mixed with the South by Southwest thing, they launched new action figures, or, statues, if you like. They're not really action figures because I don't think they move, but yeah, so new collectible statues, a new Pip-Boy as well. It just felt like one thing after another. This was first class marketing, and I talked about it on the Starfield podcast that Eric and I do. How, this is how you market a TV show and get hype behind it. It made Fallout feel special. It felt big. It felt bigger than the Halo TV show, which is weird to think when you consider how big Halo is supposed to be. So yeah, huge credit to, Xbox, Microsoft, Amazon, all the people involved with making the show, for kind of coordinating this marketing campaign, because we had those posters and then we led into the new trailer and then all the new merch dropping, and I saw people snapping up the merch, and yeah, just so excited for the TV show, and we're just kind of on the precipice of it now and can't wait. I am going on holiday the day that it drops, so there's going to be 2 days. The trailer basically confirmed that all episodes are dropping on the same day. Which, because I think on the previous episode, I'm sure I kept saying the 12th of April. I'm just going to double check now. Fallout TV show. It is the 11th. Yeah. Prime Video, 11th of April. I go on holiday for 2 days on the 11th of April. I leave. And I'm not at home. I'm going to have no way to watch the show, to access it. And which is annoying because... I'm going to have to spend some time dodging spoilers, etc. And yeah, it means I'm going to be a bit behind everybody else that I'm sure is going to be watching it day one. Which kind of leads me to another talking point, which is the fact that all the episodes are dropping at the same time, which was a surprise. It's generally not something Amazon does. Sometimes they drop a couple of episodes or 2 or 3, and then they do week by week, or they do batches. They generally do week by week, but that's not all the time. They have dropped TV shows all at once before. And I saw a mixed reaction to that. I saw some people saying, great, yes, now I can binge it all in one go, fantastic. And then I saw on the other side people saying, yes, but not all of us have got 11 hours free or whatever it is. However many episodes is it? So it's 8 episodes, so let's say 8 hours. I haven't got 8 hours free to watch it all in one go, which means I'm going to have to spread it out, and then I'm going to have to avoid spoilers. And yeah, and I absolutely fall in the camp of I would have preferred this was a week by week thing, for 3 main reasons. One is, like people said, the spoilers. 2, because not all of us have time to binge. I mean, between work and home life and parenting and everything, I'm lucky to maybe watch 1 episode of TV a day, even if I've got the energy to do that. My wife and I watching a movie is like once a week on a Saturday if we feel up to it, because we're so tired by the time Saturday night rolls around. So yeah, if it drops all at one time and you can't watch it all, you have to dodge the spoilers online. So having time to watch it. And then the main thing for me is I don't think TV shows are supposed to be binged. I mean, the structure of TV shows is very different to what it used to be. Like, when you think that it was classically week by week and episodes were sort of structured for that, they are produced in ways these days where it does make them, binging a few in a row is not that big of a deal. But the point is, I think, even the best of us, even the most attentive fans and all that, like, your brain can only take so much. And watching 8 hours of anything in one go, personally, I feel it's a disservice to the story and the production. I think you're not allowing any time for it to kind of gestate and percolate in your mind. I do really miss the time when TV shows were always week to week. Excuse me. And everyone would generally be watching things at the same time. You'd watch an episode, you'd talk about it with your friends at college or at work or whatever the next day, and people would be theorizing. You'd spend the next few days on like forums talking about it and reviewing it and talking about the characters. And for half an hour to 45 minute to 1 hour episode of a TV show, that was easy to do. And it kind of elongated the buzz and the hype around the show, especially back in the day when you got cable network TV shows that were 40 minutes long each, and there was like 23 episodes in a season, like Lost and The Show 24 and stuff. HBO shows were a little bit different, but excuse me, not that HBO was network, because that's cable, right? So yeah, that's like a big thing for me, and I would have much preferred, for my enjoyment as a fan, time to digest each episode one by one, think about it, talk about it, analyze it. We were going to do weekly reviews on the podcast. That's out the fucking window now, so we can't do that. And we're still kind of figuring out what we're going to do. I expect, we'll see when the show arrives, but I imagine we might do like 3 episodes on the show, or 3 or 4 episodes, break it down into kind of like 3 sections, maybe like a final roundup episode or something like that. So we won't do 1 episode of the podcast per episode, because it will have all dropped, and I feel like, I don't know, maybe the conversation will have passed, but we'll see. Maybe we'll want to do that. Maybe we feel it's worth dedicating 1 episode to 1 episode of the show. But yeah, for me, having to dodge spoilers, making sure that I find the time to watch it. I don't think, there's this idea that, well, if you don't want to get spoiled, don't go online, don't go on social media. Like, that's just bullshit. Like, it really winds me up when people say that, because I shouldn't have to alienate myself from a community online, or from just going online, because of people's inconsiderate behavior when it comes to spoilers. I would rather people just were more considerate, right? I'm considerate. I wouldn't go out of my way to spoil it for people. I'd certainly flag it if I was going to do that, and we'll be doing that on the show as well. Yeah, I just wish people were more considerate rather than saying, oh no, go over there, don't come and join in just because you haven't found 8 hours to watch the TV show. Like, come on, that's just not fair in my eyes. So if you want to watch it all in 8 hours and binge it, cool. Like, I'm happy for you. I am kind of jealous that I don't have the time or brain capacity to binge a TV show in like 1 or 2 days. Yeah, that's just not me. I want it to be a bit more digestible. I want to think about it. I want to let it sit with me, think about what the show's doing. And, you know, who knows? This show may not even be that deep, but even if it's not, time thing and a spoilers thing. So if you are going to binge this show all in one go, please be, you know, cognizant of that and conscious of spoilers. And I think for the most part, the Fallout community is. I've never really seen those kind of issues. So yeah, it's coming. It's all coming in one go. I still can't believe it is. Very excited for the show. And yeah, trailer was hype. Yeah, we're looking forward to talking more and more about it on this show as we get closer to when it's finally here. We also did have a clip from the TV show come out, which is where I saw some really weird criticism towards it. You know, sometimes on social media where somebody will say something like really negative or outlandish, but they say it with such, I guess, confidence. And because it's like a tweet on social media, which very often lacks tone, you just kind of read it written down. So it feels very, I don't know, it feels very statement-like, and you can very easily lead people online with tweets and statements. And if somebody just throws the right couple of words in, what you see tend to happen is a lot of people are just like, yeah, they're right. Yeah, I agree. And it's just like, and you can see some really wild takes gain traction online. And sometimes I'm really dubious of how many of the accounts that support these things are real. We know there's a lot of bots on Twitter specifically. So, and I'm not saying this is like, you know, it's fine if people got different opinions. That's completely cool. But I saw really odd takes about the clip. So basically they released a clip where the Vault Dweller, the Vault Dweller character, who is called Lucy, was talking to the Ghoul character, and then a Brotherhood of Steel soldier kind of swooped in and to, I guess, save the day. And I guess this is the three main characters, right? But yeah, so the two big things that I saw get traction, the two big criticisms I saw about this, well, one, there was some people, there was a very specific tweet, I'm not going to name the account, you can probably find it out there, that was like, I'm paraphrasing here, wow, do these people even know what blocking is? I thought that clearly they never went to filmmaking school or something like that. And it was just like, what? Do you know who is making this TV show? And yeah, I hate sounding like this, but you know, I'm experienced and trained in filmmaking, and when I see these kind of wild takes about people implying that something at this level has some sort of amateur look to it, and then it gains traction because other people who are ignorant and don't understand what this person's talking about and just like to be negative for the sake of negative, they all jump on it, and you see it get traction and it gains momentum as like, this is a valid criticism of the show. No, fuck your valid criticism. It's not valid criticism at all. It was just to imply that the people shooting this scene didn't know what they were doing and, you know, didn't learn certain things in filmmaking. So it just really gives me a headache. But, you know, maybe I'm old and out of touch. Maybe things have changed and I don't understand the new ways of making stuff. I'm perfectly aware of what blocking is. I know, before anybody tries to define it to me. Yeah, that just really kind of... And I very rarely get like super negative and ranty on this show, but that kind of, yeah, bugged my bear got my goat, grinded my gears when I saw that take. And then the other thing, which I saw multiple people complaining about, was the dialogue from Lucy and the delivery of her dialogue, basically implying she can't act, she's struggling to get her words out, and she doesn't know what she's saying. When I watched the clip, it's like, I know why people are saying this, because the way she delivers the dialogue is very like unsure and kind of robotic, right? That's the point. It's insane to me that people watching this clip did not understand what a vault dweller, who a vault dweller is, and the environment that she's come from. And this is what happens when you watch things out of context. So I guess it's non-Fallout fans. People don't know who the vault dwellers are, what the vaults are. This is a character that has been indoctrinated her entire life to think a certain way, speak a certain way. And, you know, it has been lied to, I guess, by Vault Tech as well, and by people she's grown up with. And it's like, it's like people growing up, I guess, in like a dictatorship, right? I think of somewhere like North Korea, and you see the stuff that comes out of there, and these brainwashed people that are led to think a certain way. That's what this is. And it was so clear to me while watching that clip that that's what this character was doing. She was kind of like reciting scripted spiel and messaging that has been drummed into her entire life. And people watching the clip were like, why is she talking like that? Like, she's a terrible actress. Like, that. This is terrible dialogue. Who wrote this? And it's like, you're missing the point. And that was, I mean, the blocking thing annoyed me, but it's like, okay, fine. Maybe it was nothing fantastic about the way it was shot. It was pretty standard. But the people that thought this was bad writing and bad dialogue just completely missed the point. So, yeah, I imagine most people listening to me chat about this now are not people that thought that, because you're a fan of Fallout and you get it. And I'm not trying to gatekeep here, but it's just a classic case of things being taken out of context online, and then people love to have a moan and love to have a whinge, just like I'm having a moan and a whinge now, right? But at least I think what I'm complaining about makes sense, and I haven't missed the point. So yeah, that was crazy to see. Loved the trailer, loved the clip. Can't flip and wait for the show. So, yeah. Let's move on. So, the update arrived to Fallout 76. Now, I'm actually going to save this. I'm going to save my first impressions, because that's supposed to be the sort of bulk of this episode. I am going to get to Fallout 76 and the new update. So, before I do get to that, there was some other Bethesda news this week, which prompted me to put a tweet out on the Tapes from the Waste Twitter account, which is at TFTWpod. And yes, it is still Twitter. It says Twitter in the URL, in the address bar. I'm looking at it right now. So the other Bethesda news was, it was the 30th anniversary of Elder Scrolls. Is that right? Let me check. Let's get my facts. Let's live fact check. People screaming at me listening to this. You call yourself a fan? You don't know how old Elder Scrolls is? Elder Scrolls. I just want to check it if it was 25 years or 30. Yeah, so it was the 30th anniversary. And Bethesda basically celebrated this online with some marketing, and they put out a big message, which I think like thanked the fans, and they essentially confirmed that yes, Elder Scrolls 6 is still in development. Where's the quote here? So yeah, their message says, quote, "We are in development on the next chapter, Elder Scrolls 6. Even now, returning to Tamriel and playing early builds has filled us with the same joy, excitement, and promise of adventure." So yeah, I mean, we all knew that Elder Scrolls 6 is coming. They announced it 17 years ago. We knew it was coming. And yeah, so there was a lot of buzz about Elder Scrolls, but what kind of, got me thinking was, right, games take a long time to make these days. We know this. We're already 13 years out from Skyrim? 13, 14 years, something like that. 2011, 2024, 14 years from Skyrim. Holy shit. We are 2015. We're 9 years out from Fallout 4. That is painful. Oh my god. Yeah, 9 years out from Fallout 4 and over 5 years out from Fallout 76, which is a slightly different caveat there. Clearly, obviously, Starfield was a big deal, and that's out, and there's post-launch development happening on that game at Bethesda, and they're making it very clear that they're working on Elder Scrolls 6, which it feels like that's the next game, right? That's the next game from Bethesda Game Studios. If we want to be realistic about development times, I mean, early builds, it's like, yeah, cool, you're playing early builds, but this is not an early build of a 12-hour single-player AAA game. This is an early build of a Bethesda game. So, as far as I'm concerned, that means we're still a very long time away from when this launches. Will it launch this generation? I think so. We are technically almost halfway through this generation, and generations are weird these days. Things are changing. The way that games are put out is changing. Generations are sort of being cross-gen a bit more and a bit longer, and that will probably continue. But if we thought kind of, specifically about it, we could say, right, let's imagine that the next Xbox is going to come out 2027, 2028. If it's 7 or 8 years. And there's rumors that it's going to come out sooner than that. But let's just say that it's 2027. It's 2024 now. Do I think we'll get Elder Scrolls 6 before, whatever the next main jump in generations is? If it's 2027, yeah, I think we could see it on the tail end of this generation as almost like a swan song for the generation. And then what they would probably do is a slightly more sparkly, polished, updated version for whatever the new gen is supposed to be, which they often do with games, these last gens. So it got me thinking, right, so they're full in on, I guess, post-launch Starfield development and early builds of the Elder Scrolls. I imagine Fallout 5, which they have confirmed they're doing and will come at some point, and I think Todd Howard himself has even mentioned that it's coming. I don't think I'm getting my memories confused there, but I'm sure they have. But we're all kind of understanding that it's a long time away. Now, I don't see, unless there's some huge scale up, I don't see how that Bethesda Game Studios can produce Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5 at the same time. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're going to do that. So it just got me thinking, well, okay, if we're like 4 years out from Elder Scrolls 6, 3 to 4 years, realistically, where does that put Fallout 5 for a launch? A long time away, I would think. I would think realistically, probably not this gen. Probably next gen. Probably looking closer to something like 2030, which my bones ache as I utter those words. And that's fine, I mean, I don't want to sound spoiled, but I'm gonna. I'm gonna sound spoiled. I would like it sooner. I think if we're not going to get a Fallout 5 sooner than like 2030, we need a hell of a lot of other stuff to keep the franchise going and keep it healthy, I would say. And can the franchise survive just off of a TV show, a new sparkly update for Fallout 4, and updates to Fallout 76? Yes and no. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're going to sort of gauge the success of this TV show and the buzz that comes from it. And if they're going to do a second season, things could keep ticking along. And maybe we won't even notice that it's going to be, 7 years before a new Fallout game is here, at least a Fallout 5. But anyway, it got me thinking, timescale, production of the games, and I put a tweet out on our Twitter account. Should Bethesda hand off the next Fallouts to another studio so we get it sooner than circa 2030? At the time of recording this poll still has about 20 hours left on its time to run. Currently, we've got 49.1% saying yes, they should hand it off. And wow, it just changed right in front of my eyes as I'm reading that. It just changed to 48.1% say yes, Bethesda should hand it off. And 51.9% say no, Bethesda shouldn't hand it off. And there's a few responses here, which I'm going to kind of jump into. And I should clarify, because some of the responses sort of mentioned this. I was talking about the next mainline Fallout game. I'm more than happy for spin-offs to be handled by other studios, but I feel like to wait this long for a new mainline Fallout 5, I don't want to wait that long, man. I'd love it sooner. I would want it sooner. And I feel like, do they not have the resources or trust in people to hand it off? I mean, there's so many talented studios out there. There's people they could hire, people they could, outsource to do it. I think it could be fine. We've seen a perfectly good Fallout spin-off done by somebody else. Why can't a mainline one be done by somebody else? So yeah, and obviously we don't have a huge Twitter following, but I think most of the people who follow our account on Twitter and will have seen this poll are what I would call hardcore Fallout fans. Or at least I would say big Fallout fans, not just casual Fallout fans. I could be wrong, but I think that's the people who see this kind of poll. But yes, so it's pretty close. It's pretty neck and neck. For a long time, for this poll, yes, they should hand it off, was in front, but it looks like no, it's just creeping in now to sort of take it over. And we have some responses here from my buddy Steve from First Aid Spray. We have Microsoft have a large share of the components throughout Fallout's legacy under their umbrella. Will it be done? Probably not. But it would have made sense like almost half a decade ago. So by now we can only hope. Yeah, so this is sort of, I guess this is quite sort of in line with what I think. Like, they now under Microsoft's umbrella, how is there not a way they can hand this off to somebody with enough support that a Fallout 5 could be done by a satellite studio or another team? I think it could. And Steve is kind of saying that, they probably won't do it. They should have done it like 5 years ago, and so what are we now? For another 5 years, we can only hope. Surely they'll hand it off to somebody. I think that's what you're saying, right, Steve? If you're listening to this, I know he does occasionally listen to the podcast. So yeah, I think that's kind of where I land on it. We have the Modus Files. Obviously, the Modus Files is a fantastic Fallout audio drama. They produce Fallout audio drama. Go and follow them. Listen to them. Why can't they just hire more people? Game studios should be able to work on more than one game at a time. 100% nail on the head. I think we know the answer to that, and that is profit and growth. I'm not using that as an excuse. I mean, I agree with the Modus Files here. I think I just said it at the start of my introduction to this poll. There's so much money floating around. Can there not be some better management of resources here and just hire more people so they can work on two at the same time in-house at Bethesda Game Studios? I'd love for them to do that. We know that it's all coming from the same place. But yeah, I guess that costs a lot of money. And those budgets, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that budget's per single game, I mean. We know this. Budgets are kind of out of control at the moment. The industry's in a weird place. Certainly not a great deal of recruitment happening. But yeah, with the Modus Files, it would be great if they allocated some resources to growing their team, getting more talented people under their, stewardship of Bethesda Game Studios. And just work on it now. I'm sure it's in pre-production. There's lots of things, we know that they planned stuff. They told the TV show not to do certain things because they want to do them in Fallout 5. So there's work being done on the game, but in terms of the key, the main production and main development, surely it's not very far at the moment. So yeah, why can't they hire more people? I guess the answer is they're choosing not to because of money and resources and how it's all allocated. But yeah, it'd be cool if they could. Captain Jim says, anyone still got Obsidian's number? Yeah, there we go. That's the spin-off being handed off to somebody else that I'm talking about, which, some people have mixed feelings on New Vegas. A lot of people that I speak to seem to think it's absolutely great and one of their favorite Fallout games. I think the essence of what Fallout is, because it's such a legacy franchise and IP, it's not like, and it has fans in the industry, it has fans who have worked on games. There's going to be plenty of people out there at other studios who get it and should be able to, kind of bring to life what the essence of Fallout is without straying too far from the path and upsetting everybody and all this kind of stuff. So I mean, whether that's Obsidian, we know that I think they've outright said they want to grow and develop their own IPs as first and foremost, but also didn't the head of Obsidian say, yeah, they'd love to do another Fallout one day, because I guess they feel connected to it now. But I think they caveated that with, we really want to grow our own stuff, which they're doing. They're putting out their little games like Pentiment. We've got the Outer Worlds 2 coming as well, so it could be Obsidian, but it could be somebody else. Next up we have who do we have? Absolute pillar of the Fallout fan community. It is Jessica Starr. Jess says, Fallout 5, heck no. Fallout spin-off or remake, hell yes, as long as they executive produce. Yeah, I get that. And then Eric, aka Sulio, the co-host of this podcast, chimed in as well to say, okay, I can agree with that. I voted no, but I can see it for a spin-off game. The conversation continues. Jess, I voted no too, because I took it as the next mainline Fallout, aka Fallout 5. That's why I clarified. Yeah, sorry guys. I probably should have put that in the tweet. So yeah, but Jess is right. You should have taken it. I meant the main the mainline Fallout game, the numbered entries, if you like. Jess says, I would still pay good money for a Fallout 1 or 2 remake in the Wasteland 3 engine. I've thought about it multiple times a week, every week for over 2 years now. Multiple times. Yeah, I mean, even if we're not getting those remakes right, I really want them on console, 1 and 2 on console. Please convert them somehow, Microsoft. Even if it means I've got to plug in a mouse and keyboard to my Series X, I will do that. I will gladly do that. I just don't have a PC to play these games on. Eric also says, as much as I would love a Fallout 3 remake, those two are the ones that need it the most. Not enough people have played them these days, and I feel like a good facelift could really go a long way. Also, make it available on consoles. Yes. I mean, yeah, if we're talking more broadly about handing off games like remaking 1 and 2 or porting the originals to the consoles, yeah, hand it off tomorrow. Hand it off yesterday. Why has it not been done yet? Feels like money left on the table there. But yeah, so when it comes to the mainline one, it looks like Jess is happy to wait another 10 years for Fallout 5, which is fine. Patience is a virtue. I need to teach myself that a bit more. I mean, I can wait. I suppose I have mixed feelings about it. I don't want to wait, but I can. It's not like there aren't enough games to keep us going. Yeah, and I just love my Fallout. I love my Fallout, and Fallout 5, yeah, it's going to be so it's weird to think what state games are going to be in by that time, right? Either way, we know it's coming at some point. At this rate, it'll probably be Todd Howard's last game before he hangs up his developer gloves or whatever. Or maybe it won't be. Maybe he's going to be like Kojima and keep going till he's nearly 70. So yeah, thank you for those who voted on the poll. It is still open. It'll probably be finished by the time this episode goes up. But oh look, the votes are still flying in. As I record, we are at 50-50. Should Bethesda hand off the next Fallout to another studio so we get it sooner than circa 2030? 50% yes, 50% no. So like the fan community, I am mixing it. So thank you for engaging in the poll. We will wait. Fallout 5 will arrive when it's ready. But yeah, until then, we've got the TV show. Maybe we'll have another spin-off. We'll probably have a mobile game or, one of these remakes. A Fallout 3 remake would be huge for the franchise and certainly tide a lot of people over. Remakes or remasters or ports of Fallout 1 and 2. Yeah, I guess I kind of talked myself around by thinking about it. There's lots they could do to keep the buzz of Fallout going. So yeah, just get on and do it, please, Bethesda. Cool. That's it for kind of news and fan talking points. But I say that's it for news. There was, of course, big news. Fallout 76 Atlantic City. I don't know why. What was the last podcast I did? Gaming Aroma. I really struggled to get my words out on that. I don't know if anybody listening to me on my podcast has ever noticed, but I do have a very mild stutter, which kind of comes and goes. I call it very, very mild because I have family members who have really bad stutters, and it's nothing like that. But I do have one, and I have this thing where I can sort of go off on tangents, and I don't think my stutter's more of it's like a tangent thing. I was talking to somebody about it once at length a long time ago, and they say that like stutter comes from trauma and stuff like that, which I don't know. We've all got our trauma, right? But yeah, I do have a stutter, which I do apologize for. It is very mild, but it does get in the way sometimes when I'm doing podcasts, particularly when I'm doing them by myself. I think when I have somebody to bounce off of, it's less of an issue. But when my brain is trying to manage my own kind of thought stream, which I say thought stream, it's like 5 different thought streams at once. That's how my brain works. A bit like everything in my life, to be honest. Yeah, so I apologise for that, but I'll try and get my words out properly. Let's have another sip of coffee. That'll help. Yeah, more caffeine. Okay. Fallout 76 Atlantic City, America's Playground. The update is here. I have the Fallout website open here. Last year, you met fresh faces and explored new locations with the expedition to Atlantic City. Now it is time for you to go back and wrap up some unfinished business. Update highlights America's Playground returned to Atlantic City to help Mayor Tim against the invasion of Overgrown. New questline unravel a deadly plot hiding in the closet of the glamorous Russo family in this new multi-mission questline. Oh, baby. Explore the Broadwalk. This update expands our take on post-nuclear New Jersey, explore further into the city and take on new side quests. There are new faces to meet, so make sure you go say hi. Changes to seasons. We are introducing changes to our season system to offer you more flexibility when earning rewards. Please read the seasons changes section below for more information. Do go and read everything on the Fallout website if you're yet to check out the updates. It's all there. Both Eric and I today are going to give kind of first impressions and first reactions to all that. I'm not sure how much Eric has done yet. I know he's been playing a bit. So yeah, as mentioned on the previous episode, I have been very excited about this update, given me a reason to jump back into Fallout 76. And so I have played 76 for like 3 hours since the update dropped. It took me a little while to... So the update dropped like, 2-3 days ago now? And I've had a little bit of time to play some games, but I played some yesterday, finally got to check out the update, and I have started the first new quest line. I have checked out the new way that seasons are structured, and I spent some time just doing some daily challenges and weekly challenges. So, first reactions. Let's start with seasons. As I sort of talked about last time, this feels like a way to... Well, first, it's good to freshen things up. I think, there's no harm in trying something new. I think maybe scoreboards had run their course, possibly got a little bit stale, even for those who play all the time. I said that the idea of being able to instead earn currency or tickets in this case, where you can then pick and choose which rewards you get, to me, that was more appealing than having to grind out 70 levels just because there was like one thing that I wanted. Now, you still sort of have to do that, and I'll explain why. So the way it works now is the seasons have been broke down. I think it's into like 6 chunks. So instead of the scoreboard, you still rank up your level, and it's not like, right, I rank up and get 100 tickets in my first 10 levels or whatever it is. I think you'd probably get more than that. I think it's something like 30 tickets per level. Haven't got the numbers in front of me. You don't have access to every single award from the get-go. So you start like level 1 to 12 or whatever it is. You've got access to like the first 12 rewards. And you can pick any of those once you've got enough tickets. So you kind of only have to rank a few levels before you can get what you want in that first batch. And then if you want later awards, like a battle pass, you have to level up to the next section, and then you pick from that smorgasbord of awards. So it's it kind of is what I thought it would be and isn't what I thought it would be. There's a bit of a trade-off. So you still do have to do some grinding and rank up. Of course you do. This is what they want you to do. But my initial reaction is, I do like this. And there's a few things I've kind of looked through that I've thought, okay, I do like that, I do like that, I do like that. And because I don't need everything else, I'm happy to, even if I think, right, I just grind halfway through the season, I know there's a couple of things on there that I can just pick out and get. So it hasn't changed drastically, but it just offers a bit more, like the update says, a bit of flexibility in what you get and what you unlock, which I like. I feel like it's an improvement. It's improved as much as they can improve it without just, giving everything away and making, taking the grind out completely. Because they want you grinding, they want you playing, they want you engaging with the game, and they want to encourage you to buy Fallout First. I'm not sure if you get more tickets with Fallout First. Just scrolling through the notes here. As I've said before, I'm not I don't fully engage with the live service aspect. I don't play Fallout every single week. I mentioned before, if you play Fallout every week, you should probably get Fallout First. You'll get a lot out of it. But for me, yeah, this feels like it does cater to somebody like me a bit more, where it lets me pick and choose, and I'm feeling like I'm not completely locked out of stuff. I don't have to grind all the way to 100 to get the reward at 100. Again, I don't have the breakdown in front of me, but I guess I can grind all the way to, I don't know, what is it, level 75, and then if I haven't spent my tickets on anything, I can get that level 100 reward. So it's a bit of incentive, which I like. So seasons, I'm happy with. I do really like the, what was it called? The Peepers paint. If you see this, for those of you who play Fallout 76, if you look at the rewards, there's these yellow eyes on some of the weapons, which I thought was really cool. That definitely caught my eye, no pun intended. I like the Peepers skin, and I'm not usually big on the skins. It's not something that usually sort of interests me. I'm more interested in maybe props for the camp and stuff like that. But yeah, I thought that was a cool weapon skin. So I'm looking to get some of them as I grind up. But yeah, let us know what you think of the seasons and how it's broken down. Eric's going to give some of his thoughts, probably go through some of the rewards as well. Yeah, I haven't actually, like I say, we haven't had a chance to talk about it ourselves. So what he thinks is going to be a bit of a surprise to me. But seasons, yeah, it's all change, but it's not. Some changes that people like me are going to like. Maybe everybody just preferred the scoreboard seasons and how they broke down. But let me know what you think. Come and tweet us at TFTW Pod. Let us know how you think the new seasons are shaping up. Right, so yeah, that's seasons. Now to the meat of this pie. This is the stuff I've been waiting for. Two main things. You can now travel to Atlantic City and just explore, walk around. They've added new NPCs. They've added new casino mini games. You can, unlike the expedition where you're just kind of blitzing through, you can walk around and look in the expedition, but there's not really much going on. Here we are over 5 years out from Fallout 76, and we essentially have map extensions that you can explore with their own story, with their quest line. This is fucking fantastic. I'm so happy this is here. Right, cut, edit, start recording again. Yes, I'm back. So there was a bit of an insert there. I actually had to stop recording because I had a surprise visit from my mother. She likes to drop in from time to time, so we spent some time with her. That was 3 hours ago. So I'm back to recording this, hopefully squeeze in the last bit before dinner. Where was I? I was talking about how excited I was that the expansion to the map had finally come to Fallout 76. This gives us the new expedition, America's Playground. It gives us an all-new quest line, Family Comes First, and we can explore the boardwalk and do side quests and meet some NPCs and stuff like that. So yeah, America's Playground is the expedition which Yep, cool, fine. If you want to do the expedition mission, that's great. I will definitely see it through. As previously talked about at length, expeditions are generally not for me. But what we are really excited about is Family Comes First, which is the all-new quest line. We have the blurb here, which says, back home in Appalachia, players will embark upon a new multi-mission quest line surrounding the glamorous Russo family. Opening a new nightclub in Appalachia, the Russos hope to start a quieter, though still comfortable life away from the rat race of Atlantic City. Sadly, that won't be in the cards. As a deadly plot unfolds, players must uncover skeletons, or perhaps devils, lurking in the Russos' family closet in this new quest line coming to Fallout 76. Thank you, Bethesda. Thank you, Fallout. New story quest line. I'm so happy. Yes, and as mentioned, excuse me, you can explore the boardwalk. Go and do side quests and stuff like that. So that is the gist of it. This update brings quite a lot. And first impressions. So where am I? I have spent, as I said earlier, like 2 or 3 hours with it. Just focusing on, I haven't done the expedition yet, but focusing on the quest line, I have done the first quest, which is, I was going to say all the world's a stage, but I think that's the second bit that starts. So basically what I've done is the introduction to it, and I've got back to Atlantic City. So very mild spoilers incoming now for that first introductory mission that you've got to do. It's really just the setup for the story. So it's nothing, long term or big and serious and big dramatic plot points. But so yeah, what happens is you go to the new location, you meet the new characters, you watch a performance, and there are some assassins, some mobster assassins that open fire on the place. You take them out, and you kind of, as you do in Fallout, you make yourself available to help and figure out why these people were there to attack this place. You discover that one of the characters has an addiction to something called the Devil's Blood. I think that's it, right? The Devil's Blood, which is a sort of high-end upper-class drug that's coming out of Atlantic City, and this person is suffering, and you offer to help get some to help her with her withdrawal, and I guess look into why these assassins were coming in. So yeah, that's the sort of long and short of it. This opening mission is one of my favourite little things I've done in Fallout for a long time. I thought this setup was really, really good. Sometimes introductory missions can take a bit of time, or they don't often grab me. Sometimes quest lines can take a bit of time to really get going. I loved what this did. It was very kind of, throwback, the nightclub bar, the mobsters, all this stuff that's come with the Atlantic City stuff previously. And it was cool to just feel like you had stepped into a story that was already existing outside of you and figuring out why these assassins had come here. One of the characters is being really difficult, the sort of mum character. I can't remember her name. I don't have it in front of me. But I thought this sort of very Reservoir Dogs-like setting, this one little place that this little mission happens in this one room, but so much goes down in this shootout. Yeah, this was really cool and got me excited. I was immediately interested to know what's going on. The whole Devil's Blood thing, I thought, maybe it's just because I'm kind of fresh off Starfield, but it instantly just kind of made me think about Aurora and Neon, and the kind of, the drug being exclusive to there. So there's this drug that's exclusive to Atlantic City that's coming out of Atlantic City or only available there. And then there's like these weird little rumors that, is it real blood that's being used in this? And it's kind of brushed off as nonsense, but maybe it is, maybe it isn't. So yeah, some really cool questions to sort of set things up, and it's hooked me. It's hooked me straight away. I have ventured back to Atlantic City and had a little wander around, gone into the casino, played some of the, mini games. You can do roulette, you can pull on the slot machines, you can do the horse racing, the sort of, the robotic horse racing thing. That was quite fun. Those machines are really expensive. They're like 50 to 100 caps each or something, right? The roulette tables are a bit cheaper. But I really like those additions. And so I haven't gone any further than that. I've basically just got started. I've just got back to Atlantic City and had a little look around. So I haven't, this isn't like a big review of it. As we said, it's first impressions, but first impressions are very, very positive. Really so pleased to have new story content. And I don't know how long the quest is. It's probably not really long, let's be honest. Excuse me. But I'm just happy to have something, and I'm really happy to explore more and complete the quest. I will do the expedition as well, and go and look at the boardwalk and explore that area a bit more. And see what's going on. So just kind of very positive from me, like on a bit of a Fallout high. Can't wait to play some more later tonight, hopefully, and maybe tomorrow night. And then at some point, possibly on the next episode, but the next episode, we kind of need to squeeze in maybe a Seasons Quest reaction episode before the TV show arrives. And I don't know how we're going to do that, but I'll have to talk to Eric about that. But other thoughts, really, I suppose. One of the main things I was thinking while I was playing it was I am a little... Okay, this is going to sound like really negative now. I'm just a little bit frustrated that it's taken this long to expand the map and to add these kind of locations. And I know we had the pit as well, but that's more expeditions. It doesn't count. To be 5.5 years like out of Fallout 76 and just now really being given like what feels like an actual map extension with story quest line, with new characters and things to do and mini games and stuff. And mini games, I mean the casino stuff. I don't know why it's taken so long to get here, and I appreciate a lot of work has got to go into it, but maybe there's just been some back and forth over the past couple of years about really what they were going to do and how they were going to do it. I know we've had things added to the map to Appalachia. I think of Nuka World. I really loved Nuka World. Both Eric and I did. That was huge thumbs up, so I'm really grateful for that. But it just kind of blows my mind that we are just now getting really the first proper expansion. It feels like it could be, I'd like it to be a bit more densely populated, but I haven't properly explored yet. We have heard, I guess last year or just over a year ago, that they still had another 5-year plan for Fallout 76, right? Maybe this is just kind of the beginning. Maybe we're going to get another map extension at some point. I would love that, because if this is the type of quality they're going to drop for map extensions and new quest lines going forward, I'm always going to be back for it. And I've just started this new quest line. So I am really grateful. As I was playing, I was like, I can't believe it's taken this long to do this. But I feel like we've been asking for it for a long, long time. And was smiling, very happy that it's finally here. Happy to go explore and meet some more of the characters and do some stuff. And just have some fun with it. So that is broadly my thoughts. Just got started, but positive. So glad the new stuff is here. Very excited to hear what Eric thinks as well. So on that note, I am going to hand over to him. He's going to talk about Seasons and the update and give you his thoughts. He's also going to bring you the lore section. This is probably going to be a bumper episode. I think I have rambled on for longer than I expected to, but there's lots to talk about at the moment. It feels like there is a buzz about Fallout, and that's the other thing we said on the Starfield podcast. Like, there wasn't a great deal of Starfield news when we did that episode, but there's loads of Fallout news and lots happening in the world of Fallout at the moment. It's good to see some positive, reactions online to the trailer and everything, and it just feels like it's in a good little spot right now. And as someone like me who a couple of years ago thought maybe they were possibly winding down Fallout 76, happy to be proved wrong, happy for it to still be here, stuff to be dropping, despite me not being massively into expeditions. This, really pleased so far with the new content drop, and we'll do a proper little wrap up discussion on it when we've both finished and give our full rounded thoughts on the quest line and the characters, and maybe talk about what else we want to come in the future. All that lovely stuff. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to hand over to Eric, and then I'll be back afterwards for the outro. Thank you for listening to me. Take it away, Sulior.
Thank you so much, Kelsey, for everything that you do. You're one of the hardest working people in the podcast business that I know. Speaking of which, I wanted to give you a little bit of a shout out here. Definitely, everybody go check out the Gaming Aroma Podcast. It's always nice to hear somebody's thoughts on the gaming world in general. You know, with the podcasts that we do, it's always focused on a specific game or, you know, a publisher or something. It's nice to just hear people's thoughts on the gaming, you know, business as a whole. Also, between you and a couple of other friends, you guys have got me completely fucking addicted to Balatro. So, thank you guys for that. So, a couple of things that I'm going to be talking about here. First off, the new season. So, yes, we rolled out a new season within the last week. And I gotta say, it really has been nice. It's not a whole lot different from what we were seeing before, only the layout is a bit different, number one. And number two, we can pick and choose what our rewards are. We don't have to get them in numerical order, and we don't have to get a bunch of crap that we don't use. Like, who the hell needs a bunch of Nuka Twists? Or, you know, I, for one, don't really use a lot of power armor. So the only times I ever use power armor really are when I'm in the Rock'em Sock'em power armor fights with the Gato Pub, or when I'm doing a silo, because you get some hella rads in there. But even then, like, when I'm doing a nuke zone, say, with the Modus Files crew, like, we'll do a queen fight in a nuke zone, and if you've got your Chinese stealth armor and your wet rads up to 100%, you don't need power armor. Like, they've made so many adjustments to the way things work, like with carry weight boosters and wet rads, things like that. You don't really need power armor these days. So I don't use it, so why would I need a bunch of power armor skins that I'm not going to use? So it's nice being able to pick and choose what you want to pick up. Legendary cores are always nice, but hey, if you don't want to reroll a bunch of weapons or armor, don't pick up the legendary modules, like, or the cores, whichever ones they are. So yeah, it's nice being able to pick and choose what we want. The biggest thing, in my opinion, the season pass is still kind of worthless to me, but that doesn't mean there aren't people that won't want to take advantage of it. So I still think first is the better deal overall. You know, not only do you get the first reward items on the season menu, it's not a scoreboard anymore, but you can also get all the other good stuff that goes with it. You know, survival tents, the scrap box, the ammo box, you know, things like that. But if somebody's only playing for the season and not playing on an everyday basis like a lot of us are, then they don't need first. So if they just want to get the rewards from the scoreboard or the seasons, I'm going to keep saying scoreboard, then, you know, this is the way to do it. And not only, you don't have to just pay for the season pass with money, you can pay for it with atoms. So if you've got a bunch of atoms stored up, then there you go. You don't need to spend actual money for it. The other really nice thing that came with this update, at least for me and a lot of my builder friends, is that they bumped up the camp slot cap to 10. It used to be at 5, but now you can get 10 camp slots, and this is freaking awesome because I've gotten a few things from the Atom Shop and scoreboards that I really wanted to use, but I didn't have a free camp slot, and I didn't want to have to destroy one of my camps to do it. So I've now got I've got 8 camp slots. I've been working on my 6th one. I got a nice little prefab. I can't remember what exactly it was called, Iron something cabin. I've seen a few people use it, but I got a nice little camp now on the Ohio River by the Kanawha Cemetery. So there's a couple of nice things that are there. Number one, I like the view. Having a nice little view of the Ohio River is cool. But we've been dealing with, one of the dailies that I re-rolled and got was take out 5 cultists with a shotgun. Well, the Kanawha Cemetery is infested with cultists. Also, it's right by Billings Homestead, so if I need to take a workshop, I can run over there and quickly and do that. So, yeah, it's been nice. Also, with this update, as we all know, we got the second part of the Atlantic City content. So, this is really cool. So, they redid the expedition screens. So you pick a location and you can either start an expedition there or you can just explore it. You don't have to start it, you can just free roam it. So they added a 3rd spot on the Atlantic City section for the community center. And this is also, I believe, where Town Hall is. So it's a flooded area, and this area really, I've done this expedition a couple of times now. I did it solo, and I also did it with a group that included friend of the show, Nuka Cafe. She has a little podcast called Cryptid Radio. You guys should all definitely check it out. It's a podcast where each episode kind of highlights a little cryptid and tells a little story about how her character encountered them and a little bit of a backstory to that cryptid. So definitely go check that out. So like I was saying, I've done this expedition a couple of times now, and the main story of this expedition is the fight against the Overgrown. So you're taking the fight to the Overgrown, and hopefully, within time you'll wipe them out. So it's been a lot of fun. Definitely check it out. And like I said, you don't actually have to do an expedition to go to this area. If you need to take out some Overgrown for the dailies or weeklies, that really is one good place to go to. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So anyway, overall opinions with this update is that it's been good. Like I said, I think that there's a couple of reasons for why they did this. Number one is to just give the overall seasons a facelift and just make it a little bit more accessible. We don't want to pick up a bunch of crap that we don't need. But also, with the TV show on the horizon, there's going to be an influx of people wanting to play Fallout, and they expect a lot of people to come in that maybe have never touched a Fallout game before. So they wanted to make it a little bit more recognizable. People have played other games that have a season system, and they wanted to update it to something a little bit more familiar to people who have played these types of games, but maybe not specifically Fallout. So anyway, I don't really understand what the big hubbub was. It's not like they completely changed the system to make it something horrible. It's fine. Just give it a shot for yourself, and you'll probably not even really notice much of a difference. That's my 2 cents on it. Take it for what you will. But speaking of the TV show, I wanted to wrap up the discussion of the vaults. So the vaults that are left on the list are ones that aren't considered canon. So what that means is that they basically have been mentioned. They might have been in a game originally, but at the last minute got cut. Or they have been depicted in some concept art or a cross-promotional material So yeah, let's get into these. So first up, we've got Vault 10, and we don't know the location of it. We don't know what the deal was, like the experiment was, but this was in concept art for Fallout 4. So, I mean, more than likely it would have been in the Commonwealth, but it was never implemented, but it was only concept art. And not even of the vault itself, just of the jumpsuit. So, yeah, it must have been really early concept art of a vault dweller. All right, so next up we got Vault 24, and this was a cut vault from New Vegas. The only thing we really know is that there was an unused jumpsuit that actually still remains in the game files. So there is game file content in New Vegas still of a Vault 24 jumpsuit. So very cool. I really wish that they would have given us a little bit more on these, like what the experiments were. That would have been nice. But hey, if it was cut in early development, there's really not a whole lot they can do. Mentioned the Gaming Aroma Podcast earlier, so here is my little coffee sip for that. Sorry, mouth was a little dry there. All right, so now we've got Vault 65. This is related to Fallout 76. So once again, we don't know where it was going to be or what the purpose was, but what we do know is that the vault was created very early in development. There were texture assets and functional levels containing numerous feral ghoul spawns that can be found in the game files. So the vault's editor ID labels it as Vault 75, suggesting that it may have been a design prototype. So it sounds like that maybe the game was originally going to be called Fallout 75 and not Fallout 76. Who knows? But maybe one day we will see it. So next up we've got Vault 74, and this was going to be in Fallout New Vegas. And once again, we don't know the purpose or the location of it. But we do know that the vault was created by Bethesda as a tutorial for Fallout 3's modding tools. The level was imported into New Vegas at some point, and then during the development, it was never removed. So technically, it's now in Fallout New Vegas's files and not Fallout 3. So, all right, now we've got Vault 100, and this was going to be in Fallout 3. We don't know where it was going to be or what its purpose was. Once again, really wish we could have known these sort of things. But what we do know is that it was cut during development and only unused inventory icons were used for the jumpsuit. But those do still remain in the files. So some data miners could probably find these. So, yeah. All right, now we've got Vault 113. So this was going to be in Fallout 4. And once again, we don't know what the purpose was or where it was located. But what we do know that it was cut during development and only unused textures of a welcome sign remains in the game files. So not even the jumpsuit, but there actually was going to be a sign saying that it was Vault 113. So... all right, now we've got Vault 117, and this was in Massachusetts, part of Fallout 4. And we don't know what the experiment was, but what we do know is that it was cut during development, and an early map of the game world shows that it was located just north of Jamaica Plains. So we do know where that one was going to be. Would have been cool. Wish we would have... more vaults is never a bad thing. Am I right? So, all right, next up we've got Vault 120, and this was going to be in the Atlantic Ocean, or by the Atlantic Ocean, part of Massachusetts. So we don't know what the experiment was, but what we do know is that it would have been constructed underwater. So this was a cut quest that would have involved a giant mutant octopus attacking the vault. God damn, that would have been cool. So an underwater vault with a giant mutated octopus that's currently attacking it. Why the hell didn't we get that? That would have been amazing. What could have been? So, all right. Next up, we've got Vault 121. Now I'm kind of mad because that would have been really cool. So this was also going to be in Fallout 4. So this was cut during development, and an early map of the game shows its location was roughly around Vault 95. So maybe Vault 95 replaced Vault 121? I don't know. So next up we've got a vault that was cut from Fallout 3. This was going to be in Burkittsville, Maryland. And this, all we have right now are cut terminal entries, and these are located at Hamilton's Hideaway. So this would have indicated that a group of cannibals set up camp outside the vault shortly after the war, and these were what they wanted to do was ambush survivors seeking entrance. So those are ones that are cut content from the games. Next up, we've got a few other vaults. First one is located at Cheyenne Mountain in Colorado. It's called the Belt. So this is part of Fallout Tactics. Okay, so those were the mainline games. These are the spin-off games here. So the purpose of Vault Zero, that's what the one at Cheyenne Mountain was designated as, the purpose was to command and control. It was a command and control facility monitoring the vault experiments, and this was managed by the Calculator. And then the Calculator is an AI supercomputer using the brains of America's greatest geniuses as predecessors and personality templates. So, okay, these, I think I kind of misspoke here. So these vaults are actually in these games, but these games aren't considered canon. So Fallout Tactics and Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, they're not considering those canon games. So yeah, these you can actually visit if you have these games, which most of you, I would think, have Tactics by now. Maybe not so much Brotherhood of Steel, because that one's a little harder to get a hold of, but Fallout Tactics you can actually get on Steam. And if you had Fallout 76 before on the Bethesda launcher, before it got ported to Steam, you got Fallout 1, 2, and Tactics for free. So yeah, definitely check them out, because I mean they may not be the greatest games, but there's still entries into the series. So if you're if you want to play every bit of Fallout that you can get your hands on, there you go. All right, so that was Vault Zero. The result of the experiments of Vault Zero were that so I guess budget cuts resulted in substandard components being used in the construction of the Calculator. So a series of malfunctions occurred, and as a result, the AI became genocidal. Sounds like a good time. So, all right, next up we've got a prototype vault from Brotherhood of Steel, and this was located in Texas. So this was the prototype facility, and the facility was eventually taken over by the Brotherhood of Steel's Texas expedition, and it was used as their headquarters. So yeah, that's about all we know about that one. And this next one is also in Brotherhood of Steel. So this was a corporate vault located in Los, Texas. It was a private shelter for Vault-Tec employees and scientists to continue their experiments post-war. So yeah, they could continue to experiment on people even after the Great War. Kinda yeesh. So this facility was eventually taken over by the ATIS Army, and they used samples of FEV stored within to begin manufacturing more super mutants. The facility was subsequently destroyed via nuclear detonation by the Initiate. So those are what we have for non-canon games that have been released. We got a few to wrap this up here from unreleased games. So we've got Vault 1, and it was located in the Midwest. We don't really know much about this one, but this was going to be in Van Buren. So this was Interplay's version of Fallout 3. So this did appear in a tech demo for Van Buren, so if you're interested, definitely go check that out. Next up, we've got one from Fallout Extreme. So Fallout Extreme was canceled of course, but it was a squad-based first and third-person tactical action game. So this was originally going to be released on the PS2 and Xbox, the original Xbox, and it was in development by 14 Degrees East and would have been published by Interplay. So, unfortunately, we all know what happened to Interplay, unfortunately, but still, it would have been cool. First person. I don't think any of their other games. Well, no, I take that back. Was Brotherhood of Steel? That wasn't first person, was it? I think it was. Let me double check that real quick. So I'm looking at pictures here, and there are some isometric views, but there also are some views where you're kind of looking at it in third person. So, yeah. Anyway, that was Vault 6. So now we have Vault 39, and this was in a planned sequel to Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, Fallout Brotherhood of Steel 2. And this was going to be in Abilene, Texas. We don't know what the purpose of the vault was, but the vault was described in Brotherhood of Steel 2 design documents as overgrown with mutated plants due to experiments by the game's antagonists. So it sounds like this could have been part of what inspired one of the vaults in Fallout New Vegas, which was Vault 22, if you remember the episode that we did that included that. But yeah, that is kind of cool that Obsidian did get, the people who worked on the originals, at least some of the people who worked on the originals, did get the chance to explore some of the ideas that they were going to do in canceled games for New Vegas. So yeah, I mean, we all, anybody who's played Fallout New Vegas remembers Vault 22 with the spore carrier plant people. So yeah, that was Vault 39. Now we've got finally the very last one that I'm going to talk about, Vault 70. So this was in Van Buren, or would have been in Van Buren. This vault was located in Salt Lake City, Utah, and was a social experiment in which jumpsuit extruders would fail after 6 months, drastically reducing clothing availability. So a majority of the inhabitants were members of the local Mormon congregation. So this vault was described in Van Buren's design documents as the origin of the settlements of New Jerusalem and New Canaan. So, yeah. It is a shame that we didn't get to see some of these with these canceled games. The non-canon games you can definitely check out. Check out Tactics, like I said. Check out Brotherhood of Steel. Brotherhood of Steel is not easy to get a hold of, but I do know a couple of people who've played it. I want to say Dweller and his dog played it on stream. I don't know if you can still go check that out, but I was watching him play a little bit of it, and it did seem fun. I do remember part of the game where, number one, you encounter Harold in Brotherhood of Steel, but you also encounter the Vault Dweller, the original Vault Dweller from Fallout 1. So if you have access to it, give it a shot. You may enjoy it. So yeah, that is going to do it for our series on the vaults of the Fallout series. So we're all excited for the TV show. Turns out that we're going to get them all on April 11th. So originally it was going to be April 12th. For whatever reason, they decided to bump it up to that Thursday, the 11th. And I'm kind of surprised that we are getting all of the episodes at once. It's nice. Kind of surprising considering that Amazon typically does release episodes weekly as opposed to all at once. I know myself and a lot of other content creators were planning on doing recaps of the episodes, but we may still do something to that extent. I don't know. I'm going to have to talk to Kelsey. And I think my friends at the Fallout Roundtable and I are going to be possibly chatting about that as well. I don't know if you guys heard the news, but I am now considered one of their crew. I'm no longer just a guest on their show, but I'm also a member of the show. So definitely check out my friends at the Fallout Roundtable. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this. So I guess we will probably see you guys soon after the show releases. And until then, I'm going to hand this back over to Kelsey, and I will see you all in the wasteland.
Thank you, as always, to Sulio for his thoughts and contributions to the podcast there. As always, couldn't do this without you, my friend. Thank you for continuing to ingrain yourself in the Fallout community in ways that I don't. And, Eric plays a lot socially with people on 76. That's not something I do, but I think it's great that he does. And yeah, he keeps us connected to the community in ways that I don't. And yeah, thank you to you for listening. Thank you for indulging us in our thoughts. Would love for you to come and let us know what you think. Come and engage with us on Twitter at TFDWpod. We do put these on YouTube as well, where you can leave some comments as well. Leave us a review. Leave us a 5-star review, please, on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We are obviously no longer on Google Podcasts because it's been shut down, which my heart is still broken about, and I'm still really pissed off about, because I used Google Podcasts more than anything. It was my main podcast app. And yeah, that about does it. Obviously, looking ahead, we have, as I said, we're going to do thoughts about this quest line once we've both finished it, kind of give a wrap-up thoughts on the season, on that story content. And then we're going to be looking ahead into the TV show, and I need to think about how we're going to do that. So, like I said, it's going to probably be a batch of episodes for that TV show, I reckon. We want to really dedicate some proper time to it. Hope you're as hyped as we are. Subscribe, tell your friends, tell your Fallout buddies to come and listen to us, and yeah, come and engage with us, come and talk to us. Tell us why we're wrong about our opinions or why we're right. Just whatever way, we love to be talking about Fallout. And yeah, let's keep this train going. So thanks as always for listening. Until next time, stay safe out there, Wanderers.